So I wanted to kind of go over some of the primary issues with the Corp Finder tool, and I'll try to be terse to be respectful towards everybody's time. To start off, the listed activities that are available are just not realistic. Some of these you can't do with other people. Some of these you can't even do. Currently, you can't do bounty hunting. It's not even turned on in the game. CCP Rise is well aware of this. Uh, and I'm sure others are, but that is a subject for a different time. But things are generic, like piracy and small scale gangs. Um, I think we could do a lot better if we want to do piracy. I mean, there's very little things that you can even call piracy these days, to be quite frank. And this is just another separate issue. So I think it would be better to group activities into a different set of categories. So PvP is fine. Maybe you could use the new name that you guys are kind of pushing in the EVE Academy thing. Trade, mining, research, manufacturing, these are all kind of related to industry as a whole. Uh, I think a lot of these things are also things that you could kind of like be doing by yourself. So I think resource gathering would probably be a better one instead of mining. Manufacturing could stay. Research, I guess, could stay. Trade could probably be mixed with hauling, so that maybe you want to join like a hauling group. There's a lot of better categorization in PvP. There should be things like gate camps, roams, things that are very hyper specific to the PvP community. Black Ops should be on the PvP. Capital Warfare should be on the PvP. Large scale fights, stuff like that. These are all things that should be in the categorized PvP button. So this is just to address the first like segment of issues with this operation thing here. I do like the new pilot friendly and the role play. Obviously, those are great categories. I would just have instead of new pilot friendly, I would have like a new. I would have like new pilot friendly, maybe new pilot focused for groups that are effectively only getting new pilots more or less. Because new pilot friendly kind of mixes you within vets, and I just don't think there are that many groups that are quote unquote new pilot friendly. I think there are groups that are good with new pilots once they've already kind of gotten like 3 or 4 million skill points. Once they've kind of already gotten the ropes, like people are willing to invest in a person, but there are very few people, very few corps that are really willing to invest the full bore that you need for a new pilot. So and I think all of these things should be zero sum. I don't think you should be new pilot friendly and new pilot focused. I don't think you should be able to have PvE and PvP be listed as your categories, even if that is what you do. I think it would be more beneficial for people to look at these up by PvP or PvE as your primary focus, so they know what they're getting into. Uh, in the PvE category, maybe add abyssal site running, maybe add you know uh, the top tier incursions is great. Events, maybe put the event focus on there. Um, Also in the PvP, maybe have like abyssal uh, PvP as is listed as like one of the things that people like to do. I mean, and ESS should be on there. Like, there's a lot of things that should be listed on these things because a lot of activities that should be listed into these individual categories that can be checked off. Because the more of that you get, the more focused and better results we're going to get out of this tool. The recruitment corp finding tool doesn't need a revamp as much as it needs like more filters and more zero sum choices, in my opinion. I'm sorry I'm having trouble segregating the issues with the solutions for this, but um, I guess I'm having a hard time articulating the issues without explaining why the solution would be really beneficial. So we'll move on to a secondary issue, right? So my time zone of play is 0600 to 1200 Eve time. Now, this group, which is listed as my highest match, 87%, I have all sections of PvP picked, low sec picked, because I'm a gate camping shitlord, English picked, right? Um, and then my time zone set, this thing says it's in my time zone, which this is ridiculous, right? So there should not be two time zone quote unquotes. Uh, they, in my opinion, should be forced to pick one of three 8 hour segments of time as their primary active time zones. They are capable of having play outside of those time zones, but everybody should, just like they list it for the defense timers, everybody should have to list what they believe their most active time zone to be. Because one, if your niche is playing in a certain time zone, that should flock people to you because that's a niche. It's hard for us to fill these spots. The easier it is to fill those spots, those time zone slots with players in, the easier it is for us to get more content. Um, we know for a fact that corps are the best ways to get people into the game, to retain them, to get them into fleets, which it retains them, to get them into shooting, which retains them. These are all just facts about CCP's given presentations, and I can put the receipts for this and everything, guys. Like CCP has said it time and time again. Dying is a retention rate. Your first death, as long as you have context. Uh, Getting recruited into a corp with less than 100 people is a huge retention mechanic. Getting into a fleet is a huge retention mechanic. Um, so the less barriers to entry to this, the better. Um, this this is unacceptable to be able to list yourself as a categorized section of time and then have literally like they have one kill in my time zone over the course. They literally like stop playing during my time zone and skip to after my time zone. Like this is just unacceptable for a tool that it like you time zones are so important. This isn't like I'm not listing this time zone because I like it. I'm listing this time zone because I have 6 hours of play after work because I don't get to I work a second shift job and my mornings are spent with my kids. Like I'm listing a time zone for a very specific reason. This is the only time of which I have available to play. So if there'd be some respect and integrity for like that, what I'm looking for, that would be very helpful and conducive for me to find a place to stay. This isn't just about retaining old players. This is about retaining new players. The worst thing in the world to join in like a corp as a new player is to see nobody's fucking on. This is why you see some people with less than 1 day in the game or in a corp repeatedly just chain leaving corps because nobody wants to play this fucking game by themselves. It is not fun. It is very difficult to enjoy this game by yourself. You don't get shared goals. You don't get the social experience. It's not what people are looking for. If you want to advance the friendship machine that you guys love talking about at CCP, you need this to fix it. This needs to be priority number one. You guys had 1.6 million people during COVID. Like, we didn't retain jack shit from that. The retention rates are huge. We need to fix this so there's more people to play with. The Eve right now, my time zone has 16,000 players. It should be a lot easier for me to play with these people and find them. Um, it this is very frustrating player experience wise. Um, so it's just infuriating. Another thing that's awful is these recruiters, right? Half the time they're never like no. There should be some way to stop people that don't sign on during their like time zone thing, um, on a like on a daily basis or something. I don't know. Um, like you should be able to list the activity of the corp daily, bi-weekly, weekly, or something like that for fleets and stuff like that, activity-wise, so people know what to expect. Casual, active, inactive, social, so people know what to expect. There should be more categories for us to filter things out. Because if I want an active gate camping corp, I should not have to join 7 different corps looking through trying to find something. A lot of the time while I was running for CSM is I'm trying to find the guy that I need to know to talk to about getting their support. And 90% of the time, these people are all not active or no longer playing. So like let's just check to see right now, right? Let's see how many are active in this. Ivan Killia. Okay, Ivan Killia is last played in March 28th. That's fucking great. Yeah, let me get a hold of Ivan Killia. CDL Un. Thank goodness. CDL does play. He's not turbo active, but he's active enough. That's more than enough for recruiting. Let's see. Ofek Dashu. PH. Jesus, could your fucking keyboard slam this name more? May 26th and then May 18th. So this guy's not, in my opinion, active enough to be the recruiter for this corp or alliance. And this is actually like a real alliance. Localist Primary is a real like group. This guy's a part of like they're a part of a good alliance, so to speak. Dathon Rain. Dathon hasn't played since the beginning of May. This is fucking garbage. Cheap. Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Well, can't even search that one up. That's fucking obnoxious. L Titan. Ah, okay. Alright, great. Yeah, you played once in the middle of the fucking May, and then again May 5th. Yeah, like, this is not, in my opinion, active enough to be what you would call a recruiter, someone that I should be seeking out to try and join your corporation. It's unacceptable, in my opinion. I think there should be some kind of way, like, if they don't have activity in the last week, they should either be auto removed or their corp a post up. If the recruiter hasn't been on, like pick one or two recruiters, right, that have to be on at least once every 3 days. And if they're not on once every 3 days, yank the fucking corp application off the fucking corp search tool, because this is ridiculous. I put in an application, 90% of the time you don't get a response from these people, and then you're trying to like talk with them, and they've got their time zones listed as improper, right? So yeah, I'm available this time zone. Fuck you. No, you're not. You're not. So I never end up talking to them, and I never ever actually manage to get into like a corp that fits the things that I'm looking for. This is like a real issue, guys. I wish I could explain this in a more articulate and helpful way, but this is a very infuriating issue that like new players are not going to deal with this kind of shit. Uh, New players have no idea what they're looking for, and they trust you guys and trust Corps blindly, hoping that like they put in an application and oh it'll be accepted or denied. It doesn't. Like, we're naturally suspicious of people. We're naturally this or that. Like, we don't really treat people like people until we actually start talking to them. Another good solution that you could do for this system is to let the members that are looking to be recruited, let them post applications out themselves, so people like the recruiters have to come to them instead of the applicants having to come to the recruiters. Make one like corpse recruiting, and then make one like recruits looking for corp tab in this setup, so they can list their own things, and people can try and contact them. But if you take one thing, PvP categories, PvE categories need a rehaul. Time zones need to matter way more. This is unacceptable, and the recruiters need to be actually active and useful. If they're not responding to applicants, if they're not able to talk to applicants, what is even the purpose of having them? So thank you. That's my rant TED talk. I I tried to be helpful here and not inflict as much of my suggestions. I know I probably did not do that well, but I hope you guys have at least seen some things that you maybe haven't considered before.